As an American, I know our cuisine isn't exactly the poster child for healthy eating. But when I made the last list of foods other countries just won't eat, I thought that was it. Nope. Looks like there are even more dishes the rest of the world won't touch with a 10-foot fork. So if you're wondering which foods you might want to leave off your plate since they took them off theirs, stay tuned. Number 1, coffee mate. If you've ever had breakfast in America, you know we love it sweet. So it's not surprising that we found a way to make our coffee taste like dessert. The only problem is we're also putting our health at risk. That's right, the creamer that changes your coffee into a caramel or vanilla dream is a big no-no in Austria, Hungary, and multiple Scandinavian countries. Why, you ask? Because it's packed with hydrogenated soybean and cottonseed oils, which are basically trans fat bombs. Numerous studies have shown that trans fat raises bad cholesterol, lowers good cholesterol, while increasing your risk of diabetes, heart attack, and stroke. So the next time you reach for this creamer, you might just want to have it black instead. Number 2, Skittles. Looks like all those times we thought we were just tasting the rainbow, we were also chomping down on food dyes and other sneaky additives. Now, if you've watched my other video, you know that the EU won't stand for artificial colors like yellow 5 and 6, since they're linked to hyperactivity and allergies in kids. But that's not the only thing added to these candies to make them so shiny and bright. No, that look comes courtesy of titanium dioxide, a substance shown to grow lung tumors in lab rats. So while the science isn't definite on this one, Europeans aren't taking any chances and sticking to less colorful candies like Smarties. Number 3, Marciano cherries. It turns out that America's favorite sundae topping is actually a forbidden fruit in some countries like Norway, Finland, France, Austria, and the UK. See, originally, this syrupy sweet fruit was invented during Prohibition to garnish virgin cocktails. But they're really an imitation of a Croatian delicacy called Marska cherries, which are made with 3 simple ingredients: sour cherries, Croatian liquor, and sugar. But we needed to make them alcohol-free for all those Shirley Temples, so chemicals were added to give them their bright red appearance. But if you ask those countries, the alcohol is nothing when compared to the red 40, which is linked to allergies, migraines, and mental disorders in children. Number 4, farmed salmon. Now, before you hit me up in the comments and blame this one on trade wars and competition, there's actually a better reason for banning America's farm-raised salmon. Austria and New Zealand refuse to import this type of fish, since they point to the fact that farm-raised salmon are kept in crowded cages and are fed with processed fish feed. And for them, the feed is the real issue, since it contains dangerous chemicals like methylmercury and dioxins. They also aren't a fan of the antibiotics and other drugs fed to the fish that aren't really safe for human consumption. And considering that New Zealand specifically has huge king salmon that are born in fresh water, can you really blame them? Number 5, Little Debbie's Swiss rolls. It seems like the snacks us 80s kids took in our lunch boxes would never see the light of day in Norway and Austria. See, Little Debbie's smiling face isn't welcome there, since she puts yellow 5 and red 40 in her snack cakes. And I have to admit, this one is weird to me. Aren't Swiss rolls chocolate and brown? Do they really need food coloring? So, if you do see these in those countries, they'll have a huge sticker warning parents about the risk of hyperactivity in kids. Needless to say, America has no such warning, so it's another food off of some European tables. Number 6, ground beef. What's more American than a juicy beef burger? No one would have a problem with that, right? Wrong. The EU won't touch this meat, and it's because of slime. Yes, pink slime. And it's no secret in America either. Back in 2012, ABC News did a story on how 70% of our ground beef contains this stuff, which is a meat byproduct used as a filler that reduces the fat content in the meat. So you might be thinking, okay, pink slime, what's the harm? Well, it's not just innocent slime. It's slime that contains ammonia gas, an antimicrobial agent that is dangerous to eat. But I guess we have nothing to worry about since the FDA approved this pink goo back in 2001. Number 7, Hawaiian papaya. If you're American, you already know that Hawaii produces a lot of food, like coffee, macadamia nuts, avocados, and bananas. So while it exports a lot of it all over the world, the EU won't touch their papayas. At first, this one was a mystery, but it looks like the EU won't accept our papaya because they were genetically modified back in the 90s, after a virus wiped out an entire crop. Now, not all countries in the EU have banned GMOs, but 19 of them have, and that's a total ban, with a few countries like Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, England, and Romania opting to be selective. Now, admittedly, everyone understands that this is just a precaution, since the science is supposedly mixed. But regardless, most have chosen to nix the Hawaiian papaya just to be on the safe side. Number 8, Doritos Light. Now, I'll admit, I've never seen or heard of this product before, but supposedly Doritos has made a light version of their nacho-flavored chip. And although it didn't do well enough to continue sales in most of the US, Canada and the EU have banned it, just in case Dorito tries to recover their money overseas. They said no to the lighter calorie version due to a chemical called olestra, which is a synthetic fat that prevents the absorption of nutrients and supposedly aids in weight loss. To me, it sounds more like Doritos and a pharmaceutical company had a baby. So while I can remember American diet products being laced with this stuff years ago, most Americans wouldn't buy it, since olestra causes stomach cramps, and let's just say bathroom issues. Number 9, stovetop stuffing. There's always a guilty pleasure of mine on one of these lists, and if you're like me, once a year you've probably indulged on Thanksgiving. Okay, maybe a few times during Thanksgiving. But if you eat this stuff on a regular, you might want to know that this quick weeknight staple is banned in the UK, Japan, and several European countries. Although I can't see them eating much of it, they've banned it due to a combination of beta-hydroxy acid, BHA, and butylated hydroxytoluene, BHT. And you probably already guessed it, these chemicals are linked to cancer. But combined, they cause blood clotting issues. Guess I'll be looking up a homemade recipe for next Thanksgiving. Number 10, Rice Krispies and Frosted Flakes. I mentioned in the last video that Fruit Loops were banned in many parts of the world, but that was because of the food coloring. So I was shocked to see these two cereals on the list. But it's not the food dyes that are the problem this time. Japan and the EU have said no to these less colorful breakfast options for the same reasons they won't let stovetop stuffing in the door. It's the BHT flavor enhancer that's linked to cancer that's a no-go for them. Which has also made me wonder, what flavor are they supposed to be enhancing? These two don't taste like much to me. If you've made it this far in the video, please consider subscribing. American Escapee is all about what makes America the weirdly dysfunctional place it is, and solutions other countries have found that the US could learn from. As always, thanks for watching.